Good afternoon. Can everyone hear me all right? Okay. I'll try to talk loud, but it sounds like the mics are working. Thanks everybody for coming. Welcome to the new great Valencia Street. My name is Ed Riskin. I'm the Director of Public Works here in San Francisco, and it's a great honor to be able to be here with you and all of the great folks we have around us. Is that right? It's a great pleasure to be here on really what's a great day for the Mission District, a great day for the city. The San Francisco Department of Public Works, at the mayor's direction, was able to secure $6.1 million, $5.3 million of which was federal funds, in order to make this project happen. And I do want to acknowledge the U.S. Department of Transportation, the Metropolitan Transportation Commission, and the County Transportation Authority for helping funnel that money from Washington, D.C. Right here to the streets of San Francisco. And as big and great as this new street is for San Francisco, and it is great, it's really just yet another chapter in an ongoing narrative about the open space and the public realm in San Francisco, from street fairs to outside festivals to parklets, which are extensions of the sidewalk, to Sunday streets. And any of you who were here this past Sunday, just a few blocks down for Sunday Streets in the Mission, know exactly what I'm talking about. But from Sunday streets to our new pavement to parks, to these major street reconstructions like Valencia, there's a narrative that has a theme of opening up our public realm for a much broader use, rethinking our public realm and making it accessible to all modes of transportation, to all people, and more enjoyable for people to be in as opposed to just pass through. And we're about to take a big step in terms of institutionalizing some of the thinking behind the transformation of our open space, and you're going to hear about that today. But none of this, from the pavement to parks to Sunday streets to this project and the rest of the Great Streets program that we manage with our partner agencies, none of this would have been possible, and we wouldn't be here today were it not for the vision, the leadership, the drive, and the tenacity of our mayor, who I'd like to bring up to speak, Mayor Gavin Newsom.
Thanks, Ed, and thank you all for coming out. Well, this is, we have done a number of these down in San Bruno Avenue, Divisadero, which I'll tell you is as good as it gets, though this is now competing for that title, as good as it gets, to portions of Polk Street. If you've had an opportunity to drive around Polk, we've been doing a lot of this lately, and we're really proud of it. And a lot of folks have been wondering why we get so caught up in this, why this is so important and not all those other darn things that you're supposed to be focusing on just as much. We remind them we are focused on other things just as much, but the reason we highlight this is that it's tangible. It's a manifestation of an idea and an ideal and a vision to connect dots and to connect communities in a completely different way and to connect different functions of government in a more streamlined manner. To also connect funding, to allow us to avail ourselves to federal pots of money that we weren't in the past availing ourselves to utilize the Speaker of the House as our local representative in a constructive and thoughtful and strategic way, to take advantage of former Mayor Dianne Feinstein, our senior senator, in a constructive and thoughtful and deliberative way, to leverage the work that's being done at the MTA and the San Francisco Transportation Authority and with community leaders, and to package these things with a narrative that can anchor our fate and future, where these are not one-off projects, that this becomes the norm, that there's actually a storyline in terms of how we approach our public realm. In the past, none of that really existed. We had community that said, enough's enough, we need you to focus on our street. And then someone with a louder voice came to the Board of Supervisors or the mayor's office and said, no, focus on our street. And we were scattershot, we were reacting. Now we have a deliberative, proactive plan. Now we're codifying in the general plan of San Francisco this vision. It really started in 2005, but then it started to take shape formally in 2007, when we asked the MTA, DPW, the Department of Health, the Department of Environment, the Public Utilities Commission, and other departments to come together in a way they never had and said, look, what are you planning to do? What are you thinking of doing? What are you asking for in terms of federal and state appropriations? What are we looking for in terms of general fund support? And we put it in writing. We put it on paper. And we said, all right, here are our priorities. Here's what the costs are going to be. Let's do big projects. Let's not just do little projects that no one even notices. And let's reimagine our streets. Let's connect the arts community to what we're trying to do. Let's get the bicycle community, the pedestrian advocates, and the senior advocates together to be part of this vision and plan. And let's get the merchants to be part of this. And so here is a testament to all that effort, to that collective wisdom, to that hard work that has been advanced over the last number of years. $6.1 million, as Ed said, has been invested into this effort. Brand new trees, brand new lighting, new artistic components that connect our proud past, our Victorian past, with our present and our future. We have new trash receptacles. Trust me, it's a big deal. Our old ugly trash receptacles need to be replaced. We have the disability community part of this with more curb cuts. We looked at our sidewalks and we said, you know what, let's extend them. Let's widen them. You remember, not too long ago, and still a big part of Valencia still is a reminder of this, you had this very awkward wide street with narrow sidewalks. And you had this weird median strip that really wasn't a median strip because it was just marked with yellow lines. It wasn't necessarily marked with raised concrete, which is in and of itself not so wonderful, but it was awkward. And that's what's changed. Now you have the ability for a merchant like this to say, you know what, with a microclimate that is the mission, where it's always 85 degrees, even when it's 20 degrees down in the marina, that we could bring tables and chairs out because now we have a wider sidewalk. And folks in the mayor's office just really will be happy to support that because there's still plenty of room for seniors to walk by, where we can add more bike racks and encourage people not just to have to find parking down here, but to get out and get on the road with alternative means of transportation. To allow someone to walk through a street and to see a butterfly, just as I saw it go by, that's been reintroduced to an old hardscape because there's beautiful trees. And there's something else happening in terms of the urban environment. We put all of that in this plan, which finally got done, called the Better Streets Plan. And this will, again, anchor the future of this effort for decades and decades to come. Cesar Chavez is next. Leland Avenue is next. And yes, and the next mayor will be here and take all the credit, 19th Avenue is next. And that's long damn overdue. Should I say damn? Can you edit that? So this is what this represents. We stole these ideas from all across the country. Portland was doing some of this, but we don't like being second place to Portland, so eat your heart out, Portland. We took a little bit of this from Bloomberg in New York, and that was the idea of pavement to parks and these parklets, but we don't like being second place. Eat your heart out in New York. We're now doing more on that. And we took these ideas from Chicago. And I will say, if there's any father or mother of these ideas, it's Mayor Daley in Chicago, who was on these things years and years and years ago. And I went out there when I first became mayor, got so jealous going down Michigan Avenue that we said we got to do something. So what we did is we stole their greening director, Astrid Hayardi, brought her out here, and we tasked her with putting this Great Streets and Better Streets plan together. And so I want to just specifically acknowledge Astrid and her hard work and her collaborative efforts with all of you as well. So I don't know, I'm excited about this. I'm proud of this. Seen this project for as long as you all have been living through it and knowing what it would ultimately look like. This is a special day for me. Thank you, Gelati Brothers, for all their hard work. This creates jobs as well, increases the value of properties, which we think is important. It increases the likelihood people come down to Valencia Street and stay a little extra longer, creates a sense of identity and place so we can market our diverse neighborhoods so it doesn't look like any place USA, that everybody and everything has its own unique character. And so that's really why we're celebrating and why I'm very honored that all of you took the time to be here and work so hard to get us here. I've got nothing more to say, thank God, from your perspective, except, again, to say thank you, and in particular to the Planning Department for all their work, and to DPW for their stewardship of this process. And just get ready. Cesar Chavez is really going to be exciting, and Leland, and you're going to see on 19th a similar effort very, very soon. Thank you all very much for coming out.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So speaking of businesses like this, being in the midst of a construction project for many months can be challenging for small businesses, and I think all the businesses up and down this stretch of Valencia can attest to the fact that it has been a challenging process, but we've worked very hard to make it as smooth as possible and as quick as possible so that they can then be the beneficiaries along with the rest of the neighborhood. I do want to again acknowledge Gelati Brothers. Mike Gelati was the contractor who actually built all of this. They did a great job. Given all the conditions that we hit, got it done faster than we thought they would. And I want to acknowledge our Bureau of Construction Management and Don Eng, and in particular from Public Affairs, Alex Murillo, who worked hand in hand with the folks up and down here to try to make this as smooth as possible. But so you're not just hearing from us. Want to ask our host here today from Puerto Alegre, and I can attest to the fact that they make some great margaritas. But she's going to talk more about this project today. Amparo Vigil.
Hi everyone, welcome. You know, I'm not a regular public speaker. I'm a business person, so I spend most of my time inside working. But so I have my little notes here. But anyway, my name is Amparo Vigil, and I represent my family here at Puerto Alegre. And I'm also part owner as well with other family members here at Puerto Alegre. So I've been invited to speak as a merchant here of the Valencia corridor. And we at Puerto Alegre have been here for over 40 years. And in fact, we're celebrating our 40th year this year. So stay tuned, October sometime. But in those 40 years, we've seen lots of changes, many changes. But I'll have to say that this one was one long-awaited change. And we're all excited and pleased to have Valencia Streetscapes come through here and beautify our corridor with all these beautiful trees and the lighting and the posts and just the streets and the safer bike lanes. So we're all really pleased and excited about all of this. And I think it's going to make a huge difference. You can all see me sort of shaking over here. I'm a little nervous, just a little nervous. Valencia Street has many shops on it. We have furniture stores, we have bookstores, we have clothing stores, we have artesanías, and we also have these great restaurants. One of them, which you're standing right in front of, right here. And but I think that Valencia Street has sort of been a little secret here, and unless you've been here, or unless you've heard from other people, you really wouldn't know that it existed. But despite this, Valencia Street has lots of people around it. Lots of people. I'm going to try to put this right here so I don't shake so much. But there's lots of people in and around Valencia Street. So we've seen people from here at Puerto Alegre. We've seen people from all over the world. We've seen people from, you know, all over the world, including San Francisco, the wider Bay Area, also from our neighborhood. But I think that actually with everything that we have here, I think that what we'll be able to do is we'll be able to be a more inviting neighborhood. I think that mostly Valencia Street has sort of had their businesses inside, but now with the expansions of the streets and the lighting and the lights and everything else, I think we'll be able to create more of a community and be able to sort of expand outside and bring our community not only to our businesses here, but also to our neighbors and to our homes. Some of us live here. So we're all excited about these changes and feel that everyone, merchants, customers, neighbors, as well as people who live in and around the area, will greatly benefit from this. So it's my pleasure to be one of the many merchants here along the Valencia Street corridor and excited about this new transition that we're getting to see here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's happy merchants is definitely one of the things that we're hoping to get out of this project, in addition to happy pedestrians and cyclists and everybody else who uses this great part of our city. It's really a project like this, and the Better Streets plan in general really takes a lot of different parts of the city family working together. And it's really been one of the hallmarks of the mayor's administration to compel the various city departments that sometimes may appear to have different interests to work together to achieve things like the Better Streets plan and like this project. So I just want to acknowledge some of those folks. One of our biggest partners here was the San Francisco Municipal Transportation Agency. Bond Yi, the manager of Sustainable Streets, is here with us. Thanks, Bond. Thanks, Dan Province, Benito Velasquez, for your work on this. We already heard kudos for the planning department. We're joined by John Ram and David Allenbaugh. Want to thank them for their work with us. Mayor's Office of Disability, Susan Misner is here with us. And our Director of Cultural Affairs, and there's a significant public art component to this, Luis Cancel is here as well. And I mentioned before that some of the funding for this was made possible through the County Transportation Authority. I want to thank Jose Luis Moscovich and his Deputy Director Tilly Chang. But we partner not just with ourselves inside the government, but with those on the outside who have been part of the driving force behind some of what's been happening in San Francisco. And fortunately for us, a few different organizations here, Spur, the Bicycle Coalition, and the People for Public Spaces came together and formed the Great Streets Project. And they did what the mayor did, and they imported some talent from Chicago to lead that effort. And I would like to bring up the director of the Great Streets program, Kit Hodge.
Thanks, Ed. Thanks, Mayor Newsom. What a beautiful day. The Great Streets Project facilitates placemaking here in the city, and I think we can all agree that this is a great place. This street is a wonderful, wide place to be that you want to bring your friends and families repeatedly. Congratulations to the many city agencies who have participated in making this possible. I also want to acknowledge the many community members and businesses that participated along the way in that process. This could not have happened without everyone really rolling up their sleeves and coming together to make this possible. So congratulations to everyone. I also want to point out that Valencia Street is a harbinger of things to come. The Better Streets Plan is a wonderful step forward for San Francisco. It's a culmination of tremendous hard work on many different people in the city agencies, as well as from the community. I want to particularly acknowledge Adam Verrett from the Planning Department for his leadership on this project. I also want to acknowledge the MTA, the DPW, PUC, MOD, SFCTA, and last but not least, the Department of Public Health. A lot of acronyms, but those acronyms really stand for a lot of great people in the city who are working together to make this possible. And we're working with community members, regular folks, to bring together ideas that will make better streets possible throughout the city, as the mayor has spoken about. So congratulations to everyone today. I look forward to enjoying Valencia Street, as well as many other corridors around the city for many years to come.
Thank you, Kit, and thanks to all the organizations that are working with the city to make San Francisco a better place. A few more acknowledgments. I didn't mention the PUC, Michael Carlin, Deputy General Manager, is here. Significant part of this process, and even a more significant part when we get to Cesar Chavez. We had support from the Better Streets Plan Citizens Advisory Committee, the League of Conservation Voters, the State Department of Transportation, Caltrans, and many others. And again, the merchants around here were really wonderful to work with. I also want to acknowledge, I mentioned that our Director of Cultural Affairs is here and that we have a lot of art here. The artist on this project is here. So I want to acknowledge Michael Arcega for the Valencia Street Post project. Really a wonderful addition to Valencia Street. It's modestly hiding behind his art. So I want to finally bring up one of our partners in this process, and it was not just a partner in name, but a partner sitting at the table, not just as we designed, but also as we did the construction to make sure safe passage for what's one of the fastest growing modes of transportation in San Francisco. So I'd like to bring up the acting executive director of the Bicycle Coalition, Rene Rivera.
Thank you, Ed. Well, it's a wonderful day to be out here at the San Francisco Bicycle Coalition. We're so excited about these wonderful changes to Valencia Street. You know, we've been around San Francisco for quite a few years now and have been working on making Valencia Street a better place for biking and for everybody for many years. In fact, I was thinking back to 1999 when we first saw the bike lanes that have just been improved put in on Valencia Street, and what an incredible day that was for this street and for bicycling in the city. And one of the things that we saw as we went forward after those bike lanes were put in is, first of all, a huge number of people coming out and biking on Valencia Street, making it really one of our most popular bike corridors in the city. But we've also seen the whole neighborhood blossom and thrive, and really seen the businesses here thrive. And that's one of the things that makes us so excited about today and about the changes that have just been put in, because we know from our experience in the past how much these improvements and how much making better space for bikes, better space for pedestrians, making sure there's space for everyone of all ages and abilities to use and enjoy the street. We know how much that makes this neighborhood thrive and the city thrive. And it's wonderful to see a business owner out here talking about how good this is for their business. When we look around at the businesses just on this block, how many of them weren't here in 1999? And what a wonderful commercial corridor this has become because of the changes the city has put in. So we really appreciate the vision from the city, from the mayor's office, MTA, DPW, and all the agencies that have come together with the vision to make San Francisco a better place for everybody through improving the streets that we really live and enjoy every day. I also wanted to specifically thank Ed Ruskin, Chris Obrook, and other folks from DPW for making this construction process to cause as little suffering as possible. Of course, construction is always difficult, but they were incredibly responsive through this process, and we have been a partner through the whole construction, and that has made it as easy as it could possibly be. And I also wanted to also thank Mike Gelati, the contractor on this project, for also being an incredible partner as we've gone through this construction phase. So thank you all for being out here, and we look forward to the better streets rolling out across the city and making many more of our streets and corridors through the city a wonderful place to bike, walk, take transit, and just enjoy. Thank you.
Thanks, Rene. So just to close, a few final acknowledgments. This small project goes through 3 different supervisor districts. I want to thank the offices of Supervisors Daly, Dufty, and Campos for their support of this project. I want to acknowledge the board director and member of Livable City, Tom Radulovich. Thank him for joining us. Thanks, Tom. He's also a great advocate for these kind of improvements. Want to acknowledge the Deputy Director of Public Works for Engineering, Fouad Suisse, who oversaw the design and construction here, and Deputy Director for Operations, Mohammed Nuru, who now will be responsible for maintaining this beautiful landscape.
That's right, Mohammed.
And if he doesn't do so, the mayor will remind him. Finally, I want to acknowledge the guy who led the team that designed this whole project. Really an outstanding project. A lot of effort went in to getting the community consensus, to working out all the technical details, and coming out with this beautiful project. Landscape architect John Dennis, the lead designer. And then last but most, the project manager for Valencia Street and the Great Streets program within DPW, our project manager, Chris Obrook. Phenomenal job on this project. So with that, we want to thank you all for coming today to celebrate Valencia Street and the Better Streets Plan. We'd be happy to take questions if anybody has them for the mayor or anybody else up here.
We can just do the ribbon cutting. Let's do the ribbon cutting.
Okay, on to the ribbon
They've
cutting.
heard enough from us. How about 5? We'll go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Does that work?
That'll work.
All right. 5, 4,
3, 2, 1.
It's open. Walk your streets. Here you go. Thank you for being